Born in the small town of East Smithfield, Pennsylvania, on May 3, 1835, George Washington Campbell Jr. epitomized early 19th century American life. He would marry Miss Mary Amelia Dewey, and the two would move to Illinois just before the Civil War. This shift marked the beginning of a series of dramatic events that would see him transition from a peaceful life to the horrors of war and captivity. In 1861, with the country embroiled in civil war, George enlisted in Company B of the 7th Illinois Cavalry. His commitment to the Union cause led him to numerous battles, but it was in November 1863 at Collierville, Tennessee, where his fate took a dark turn. During a fierce skirmish, George was captured by Confederate forces. This capture marked the beginning of his harrowing ordeal as a prisoner of war. Initially, George was taken to Cahaba Prison in Alabama. Known for its deplorable conditions, Cahaba was just a prelude to the greater suffering that awaited him. Prisoners were crowded into small spaces with limited access to clean water and food, fostering disease and despair. Yet Cahaba was only a stepping stone. Soon, George and many others were transferred to the most infamous of all Confederate prisons, Andersonville. Located in Georgia, Andersonville Prison, officially known as Camp Sumter, was notorious for its brutal conditions. Constructed to hold a maximum of 10,000 men, it often crammed more than 30,000 Union soldiers within its walls. The environment was inhumane. Men lived in makeshift tents or holes dug into the ground, struggling for the scant food rations and clean water provided. The camp's water source, a small stream, was quickly polluted, exacerbating the spread of disease. George was thrust into this nightmarish world. The daily struggle for survival involved battling hunger, exposure, and illness. Andersonville's mortality rate was staggering. Nearly 13,000 of the 45,000 Union soldiers imprisoned there perished. Despite the grim reality, George survived. His endurance in such dire circumstances was a testament to his resilience and willpower. The end of the war in April 1865 brought liberation to the surviving prisoners. George was among those who returned home, though emaciated and weakened from his ordeal. Upon his release, George made his way back to Pennsylvania, reuniting with his family. George slowly recuperated. In 1868, seeking a fresh start and driven by the pioneering spirit, George and his family moved west to Homestead in Nebraska. Life on the frontier was harsh, but it was a world away from the horrors of Andersonville. George devoted himself to farming and family, building a new life from the remnants of his past. George Washington Campbell Jr. passed away on June 27, 1923, leaving behind a legacy of resilience and fortitude. His story, marked by the trials of war and the strength to overcome them, serves as a poignant reminder of the human capacity to endure and thrive.